Season 2 of Small Town Spotlight, sponsored by Charlie Clark Auto Group.
Welcome to this special edition of KTSM 9 News at 6. Today we are live on location in Alamogordo, New Mexico from the New Mexico Museum of Space History as we continue with our Small Town Spotlight series, all made possible by Charlie Clark Nissan. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Monica Cortez.
And I'm Andy Morgan. You know, Monica, there is the saying in sports, if you look good, feel good, you play good.
You do good,
I feel
right?
like we look pretty good right now.
I know.
I definitely feel good. I think
Look
it's
at
going to be a good show.
It is. So I just touched the moon and Mars.
Yep.
And we have so much going on, but I know that you guys have been noticing that huge trophy behind us. That was awarded to the city of Alamogordo. Can you believe that? They did something so amazing that they got awarded a one-of-a-kind thing, but we will talk about that a little later in this newscast.
That's right. Lots of support here from Alamogordo. And we're actually, as Monica mentioned, live here at the New Mexico Museum of Space History. It was actually dedicated on October 5th, 1976 as the International Space Hall of Fame. So really, really cool they have that designation. It's one of 15 divisions of the New Mexico Department of Cultural Affairs.
That's right. And so the museum's mission is to inspire, educate, promote, and preserve, and also honor the pioneers of space exploration. Check it out.
We honor the entire history of worldwide space exploration, but we always come back to that nugget that is New Mexico at the very center, because so much happened right here, and it continues to happen here nowadays. So the building is over 80 feet tall, and we have 5 stories. There's gigantic floor-to-ceiling windows, and you're looking out over the entire Tularosa Basin. Cameras flown on the Apollo 14 mission, to pieces of Trinitite, to a Sputnik satellite up above. On the next floor down, we've got essentially how people learned how to fly in space. So we may have the couch that was used to train the chimpanzees, the chairs, a shuttle landing simulator. Then we get into the rockets, missiles, and motors, where you're going to see engines, you're going to see navigation equipment, and missiles that were tested here all over the world and were used in the Apollo program, Russian programs, everything. Then after that, the satellite gallery, where you can take a look at a whole bunch of different satellites that have either flown in space or were maybe the first navigational satellite, the first communication satellite, the first weather satellite. Then we get the human spaceflight gallery, which is where we are right now. We have one of the very large pieces of moon rock that was brought back by Jack Schmitt and the Apollo 17 crew back in 1972. We've added a whole bunch of interactives to the museum. What do we mean by that? You can come and you can land the shuttle. You can land a lunar module on the surface of the moon. You can go down and fly on a jetpack around the surface of Mars. You can step into a transporter from Star Trek. You can actually go down and put on spacesuits and take your picture in front of a lunar backdrop. So those are just a few of the interactives that we currently have, and we're adding more all the time. Outside the museum, we've got a rocket park out there, so where you're going to see everything from a Little Joe 2, you know, a almost 100-foot tall rocket, one of the largest rockets that was ever launched here in New Mexico. This is a unique experience for our area here in the desert Southwest. It's very rare for you to have an opportunity to come to a place and see so many artifacts from the history of international space exploration.
And joining us now is Christopher Orwell himself, the executive director here at the museum. Just a great ambassador here for the Museum of Space History, that's for sure.
I know, and so, okay, earlier in the show, I said I touched the moon and Mars. I am not making that up.
No, you aren't at all. So in any case, right here in front of us, we have an actual slice of the meteorite that fell from Mars, so that's what you were touching. And then over here is a piece of the moon. So, and you actually wouldn't want to step on these too hard because you'd break them pretty easily.
I know. So, can you show the camera again the moon? No,
Yep,
this is moon, right?
That's the moon.
That is a piece of the moon. And this is a piece of Mars.
Yeah. So I feel like the moon looks like something that I'd want in my bathroom or in my living room. It looks so beautiful. But you said that you have to be very careful with them.
With these you do, because they're just slices of a full meteorite. So you think about a meteorite rock falling down, it's a big thing, relatively speaking. These are just small pieces of it, but they're very expensive. So as you can imagine. So, and we use these to, when we're traveling with education programs, for the kids to be able to touch.
That's
and
amazing.
Adults like it too.
We can set those aside, and then tell us what we got right here. And as you do, I also want to know how you get your hands on some of these sort of things, especially because there's different space centers. The Kennedy Space Center also have space centers in Houston. How do you guys collect these artifacts?
So I'll start off first of all with what everybody's looking at here, and this is the Apollo 11 moon rocks and flag that were presented to every state. So every state and every country throughout the world in 1969 got presented some of these small moon rocks and a flag from their nation that flew on the Apollo 11 mission as a goodwill gift from the United States. So how do we get artifacts? Wow, many different ways. We get loans of objects from NASA, from the National Air and Space Museum, from U.S. Air Force, Navy. We get things that are given to us from those agencies as well. A lot of things are not just on loan, they're actually given to us. In this situation, obviously, this was given to the state by the government. But then we also get items either through auctions or people just donating things to us. And yeah, so that's kind of how we get most of the stuff that's here in the museum. Like the spacesuits behind me, actually we got a couple through auction, and then the rest were,
the ones we're wearing?
They look nice, but they're not from missions. So replicas. So in any case, though, but yeah, like I said, many different ways of getting things, most of it through donation.
Wow. Chris, I can talk to you forever, but thank you so much. You are so fascinating. This place is so incredible.
An ambassador here at the History of Space Museum. Thank you so much, Christopher. Also joining us is our third member of the crew. Of course, that is Robert Bettis. Robert, you actually kind of grew up here a little bit in Alamogordo, we learned during our 5 o'clock newscast. So you've been here before.
Where is he?
Oh, yes, I sure have, Andy and Monica. Beep. Beep. Andy, Monica, none of these small-town spotlights would happen without our good friends at the Charlie Clark Automotive Group. That's why I'm here with Bobby Bone. So good to see you, Bobby.
It's good to see you, too.
Welcome to the New Mexico Museum of Space History. Can we get one space clap, please? Of course, nobody can hear it because it's space. Have you ever had freeze-dried ice cream?
No, I've never had it.
Go ahead and open that up.
Let me see this.
And pull that thing out right now.
Okay.
Are you ready for heaven and literally? Look at that. Here we go.
Wow.
It turns to ice cream in your mouth.
Whoa.
Isn't that something?
Oh, good.
I love it. We have an excessive heat warning in effect for Earth tomorrow in El Paso. We expect a high temperature of 110 degrees. I want you to exercise extreme caution because it'll be that hot. I'm going to have your detailed forecast coming up for Father's Day weekend in just a little bit to my fellow astronaut.
That's right.
Andy, Monica, beep. We do not have a problem.
Alamogordo, I think we have a problem.
We have a big problem. We don't have
Robert
the ice
Bettis
cream.
is taking over.
Yeah. Bring some ice cream over, Robert. All right, well, we have a lot more to get to, but first, let's go ahead and send it back to the studio.
Yeah, Oriana Botero is standing by in our studio in West El Paso with today's top stories. Hey there, Oriana.
Hey there, guys. Now into our top stories of the day. A chase has ended in a rollover crash, and so far we're told at least 9 people have been hurt. This is all according to the El Paso Fire spokesperson. It happened in the area of Donovan and Sunset, and this map gives you an idea of where authorities are right now. This is a video from our traffic cams. You can see crews on the scene along with the vehicle involved on its side. Fire officials have declared this as a mass casualty situation, and we are told 7 people were transported to the hospital with minor injuries and 1 person with serious injuries. 1 person refused transport. And a massive sinkhole in central El Paso has caused a huge headache for the community. Nearly 20 people had to be evacuated when it happened last night near the intersection of Tularosa and North Stephen, swallowing 2 cars. We're told it was caused by a water main break, and we know that the main line that broke was a 24-inch pipe. El Paso Water saying it was one that was high pressured, carrying thousands of gallons of water. A full investigation into why the water main broke will be conducted once the main is repaired and back in service. And an El Paso man is dead after he was electrocuted while inside a jacuzzi at a private resort in Puerto Peñasco, Sonora. This is all according to the General Prosecutor's Office of Justice. The video you are seeing on your screen shows people rushing to help the two people inside the water. The General Prosecutor's Office says a man only identified as 43-year-old Jorge died. A woman in the jacuzzi identified as Lisette is at the nearby hospital in critical condition. Right now, we're working to learn more about the victims in this case. As soon as we have that information, we'll bring it to you both on air and online at ktsm.com. And well, that was a look at your top stories for today. Let's go ahead and send things over to Andy Morgan and Monica Cortez, who are live at the New Mexico Museum of Space History in Alamogordo, New Mexico, for our small town spotlight. Hey there, guys.
Hey there, Oriana. Thank you very much for the update. So we got our outer space and space travel fix.
We did.
I definitely want to talk more about that, and I think we'll be able to do that in our next half hour. But Alamogordo is so much more than just the museum here, although it's really, really, really cool. Actually founded in the 1800s, and a few historical figures and notable personnel have actually come from Alamogordo, and best known, how about Alamogordo Pat Garrett, actually known killing Billy the Kid.
Yeah, and some really cool movies were also shot around here, like Transformers, 12 Strong, Sully, and there is so much. I actually got to talk to the mayor of this incredible town. This is what she had to say. Check it out.
New Mexico was established as a state in 1912. Before that, we were the territory of New Mexico. And so, yes, Alamogordo was established before New Mexico was even a state.
Alamogordo is adjacent to Holloman Air Force, is bordered on the east with the region's only solar observatory, and has the oldest zoo in the Southwest.
We have a great partnership with our military counterparts. We have some big pistachio farms, wineries. Of course, we have wineries as well, and we're also known for really great people.
Above all, there is one thing Alamogordo has that the mayor says makes this small town very unique.
I always tell everybody, no matter where you've lived in the country, Alamogordo is just a little bit different, and we're different because we're a very close-knit kind of community. We really try to help each other out. We're a friendly community. We're very welcoming, very inviting.
Mayor Payne says there is still room for growth.
It's interesting to try to keep that balance between that small hometown feel and then also progress. And so what I envision is some greater economic development. I envision, of course, maintaining those partnerships with our military, maybe adding more of those quality of life things that are so good for our community.
With so many unique aspects to this small town, Mayor Payne invites the borderland to see for themselves.
Never discount Alamogordo because there is a lot to do here, and I encourage people to come and check it out for themselves.
And we'll be speaking with the mayor of this incredible town in our next half hour.
That's right. We still have so much to get to. Already having so much fun here on this edition of Small Town Spotlight, live from Alamogordo. Stay with us.
Weather Authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderlands' only certified broadcast meteorologist.
It is a warm one out here at the New Mexico Museum of Space History. But these small town spotlights would not happen without the Charlie Clark Automotive Group. Thank you so much, Bobby Bone, for suiting up for us and coming out here. Of course, this is a wonderful museum. As you've seen some of the treasures, actual moon rocks in there and wonderful gyros from the past. And we're going to see the futuristic Star Trek and Star Wars and all those fun things coming up in just a little bit. You know what? I thought it would be hotter in the spacesuit.
No, me too.
It's actually quite comfortable. It's 100 degrees in Alamogordo right now. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really cool.
You know what? I get the impression they insulate these suits.
Me too. I like them.
Okay. All right. These are replicas. This is not actually Armstrong's suit, but feels good. You actually look fantastic.
Thank you.
I look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow guy. All right. Let's go to your exclusive 9-day forecast. We can expect a high temperature tomorrow of 110 degrees. An excessive heat warning in effect. So do not do what Bobby and I are doing, which is standing out here in a hot suit in the middle of the sunshine. We can take it, though. 106, our high temperature for Friday. A little bit cooler as the high pressure starts to subside a tiny bit. And then we'll be looking at a high temperature of 103 on Saturday for Father's Day weekend. Sorry, dads, temperature goes back up to 105 on a sunny Sunday. And then 105, a little windy with hot, gusty winds on Monday. But I've got some very good news. I've looked at Tuesday very closely, and it looks as though the moisture charges up on Tuesday. And you know what that means. It could begin to spark those monsoon thunderstorms, which, of course, will take temperatures into the 90s. But you know what? If we can't be in an air-conditioned shuttle floating above the planet, what's the next best thing, Bobby?
Oh, it'll be a QX80 here with the Charlie Clark Infinity QX80.
Tell me about this fantastic vehicle from Charlie Clark.
So this is the QX80. This one has the 22-inch rims. It has a nice semi-antheline leather. This one right here is going to keep you cool. The air conditioning is already on. It's running for you, Robert.
Houston, we have a problem right now because it's so hot. Oh my goodness, feel the luxurious leather seats.
Semi-antheline leather, you ain't gonna go wrong.
Can you give me a little boost in here, Bobby?
There we go, yes.
It's kind of hard to go through the space hatch.
All right, there we go.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh, you're right. Oh, wow. Boy, you open up your helmet and that AC's on, and it is fantastic. I love Small Town Spotlight. You stay with KTSM 9 News. We'll be right back.
TSM 9 Sports with Sam Guzman. Sponsored by Glasheen Vyas and Enderman Injury Lawyers.
The start El Paso Locomotive FC got off to this month was a start only a mother could love. On June 1st, the Locos suffered a 3-1 loss to Birmingham Legion FC at home. The Locos knew that was not their best performance, and they had much more to give. 4 days later, the Locos bounced back. The Locomotive beat San Antonio FC 1-0 thanks to Brandon Craig's free kick goal in the second half. The win gave the Locomotive its second victory in its last 3 matches under the direction of new head coach Wilmer Cabrera. Coach Cabrera is hoping his squad that is facing an uphill battle to get back into the playoff race can take what it did in its last game against San Antonio FC into its next game against Phoenix Rising this weekend.
I hope it helps us to understand that, we need to be physical at home. We need to fight in soccer terms to make sure that the teams don't come over here and they don't control games against us.
Every point matters at this stage of the season, whether it be 1 point on the road, 3 points on the road. We need to get as many points as we can as quickly as possible, to set ourselves up into playoff contention.
Now, on paper, the Locos are in a good spot to get that first win at home of the season. The squad is coming off a win at SAFC, and it's had more than a week to prep for Phoenix Rising. The Locos and Phoenix Rising will go head-to-head on Saturday night at Southwest University Park. Well, only 5 teams in NBA history have come back to win the NBA Finals after being down 2-0 in the series. The Dallas Mavericks hope to boost its chances of making that list tonight in Game 3. Luka Doncic and the Mavericks walk into Game 3 hungry to get their first win of the series after 2 disappointing defeats in Boston. But now the Mavs are back in Dallas. They're hoping to avoid getting into a 3-0 deficit and take a step closer to playing its way back into the series. It won't be easy, as history shows that 86% of the teams that win the first 2 games of the NBA Finals go on to win the championship, but that will not stop the Mavericks from making adjustments and putting up a fight.
Just trying to keep getting open looks. I think our defense has not been bad. We can't really score. That's our main problem right now. But I think we're getting some great looks. And like I said, we have confidence that everybody can make a shot. That's shooting the ball in our team. So we just got to keep believing it.
That's the spirit. Just got to believe. Dallas, Boston, Game 3, 6:30 p.m. tip-off time on ABC. Well, that is your look at sports. Now we'll send things back to Monica and Andy, who are in Alamogordo, New Mexico, and they continue our small town spotlight.
That's right, Sam. Thank you very much. We're live from the New Mexico Museum of Space History. We still got so much to get to here today.
You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, you are tuning in to Small Town Spotlight. We are live in Alamogordo here at the New Mexico Museum of Space History. We have a very special guest, the mayor herself of Alamogordo, Mayor Susan Payne. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for coming down to our city, and welcome.
It's been so great. I really have loved this Small Town Spotlight series. And Mayor Payne, I feel like we've been showcasing what looks like a Stanley Cup trophy.
I know.
But it's very special to the city.
It is. It is quite an honor, actually, to receive that trophy. To a lot of people, it's just a trophy. To us, it signifies our commitment to supporting our military partners right down the road at Holloman Air Force Base. This trophy is the Altus Community Support Award. It is awarded to the city that demonstrates the greatest support for their AETC partner. AETC is the Air Education Training Command Base, which is what Holloman is. We have to submit a package every year, and that includes letters of support and just how we have supported our military. And this year, 2023, it included the erection of 2 new schools. Yeah, 2 new schools. Yeah, that was a big deal. And the test track, they improved the test track out there, and a multitude of other things. So we're super proud of that. It is judged by a panel of 6 former generals that are part of the Military Affairs Committee. And this year, as opposed to years past, we actually won by unanimous vote. So that's quite an honor, and it doesn't always happen like that, and that was emphasized at an award ceremony that we just recently had. So super proud of that.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah, we were very excited. So Dr. Leverett, who is from Altus, Oklahoma, and he is the chair of the Military Affairs Committee, and General Robinson actually came down to present the trophy in person. So quite an honor.
Yeah, quite the honor as well. Mayor Payne, thank you so much for joining us here and for having KTSM 9 News here in Alamogordo. We certainly appreciate you.
And we appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Aww, thank you so much. And Mayor, I know that you've boasted about the how do you say it? Flickinger Theater?
Flickinger.
Flickinger Theater, and we're actually going to spotlight it right now, so check it out. Oh.
In 1956, it was built as a movie theater, and in 1988, it had become pretty dilapidated, and a wonderful lady named Margaret Flickinger bought the whole facility and donated it back to the community, and it became known as the Flickinger Center for Performing Arts. They did a huge $1 million campaign to raise funds for the remodel, and at that time they turned it in from just being a movie theater into a performing arts theater, creating our downstairs dressing area, some side space for side stage, and we also revamped the sound and light system. We have Grammy award-winning artists that perform on this stage, and they constantly say that there's just a feel about this place that makes it very, very special. They love the acoustics in here. They were done obviously in a professional manner back in 1956 because they're still holding true today. So I would say what makes this stand out is just kind of a labor of love. what we do here, just we go above and beyond. So I think that makes our theater stand out just a little bit.
4, 3. Such a cool look there. Absolutely love the theater, and really cool that they got that designation. So.
I know, lots going on in Alamogordo. I'm more curious to know also what Robert is doing.
We've been saying Alamogordo, we have a problem. Robert, what are we getting into? There they are.
Andy, Monica, we've been practicing because the museum has an incredible science fiction area that is absolutely amazing. Look at this. And you know what it teaches you? It teaches you, Bobby, that science fiction and science reality went hand in hand. So they have all these displays of actual spacesuits used in television and movies and things like that. Books, science fiction books that actually turned into things such as the taser. Yes, that came from an idea in the early 70s. And all kinds of incredible gems. Now, coming up, I'm going to have your complete forecast. We're going to talk about Father's Day weekend. Come on, Dad. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Okay, everybody, do you hear it? It's Father's Day weekend.
That's right. I like so.
Give them the look.
That's right.
Okay, 110 tomorrow, and we've got an excessive heat warning in effect. Andy, Monica, back to you.
All right, Robert, thank you very much. I like their spacesuits.
I do too. It looks so cool.
I thought we looked good at the beginning of the show, too.
Maybe we might join him.
I have to put those back on. We still have so much to get to here, live from Alamogordo at the New Mexico History of Space Museum.
We'll be right back.
Robert Bettis, the Borderlands' only certified broadcast meteorologist.
I want to show you an example of how science fiction turns into science reality. See that book, Tom A. Swift and His Electric Rifle, written in 1911? It foreshadowed the taser. Tom A. Swift and His Electric Rifle, the taser. Wow. Yes, and there was a book written in the 1800s that foreshadowed credit cards. These are the endless gems of fantastic information that you're going to get at this wonderful museum. Let's talk about the heat. Okay, it gets a little better for Father's Day weekend, but tomorrow it's going to be the worst that it is. Trust me, you don't outside for long. 110 degrees will be the high temperature. An excessive heat warning has been posted for tomorrow, and as high pressure reaches its maximum, it's going to become dangerous outside. Now, we can expect that temperature of 106 on Friday. As we move into Father's Day weekend, 103 with sunshine, the high temperature. On Father's Day, 105, a little sunny as well, some hot breezes. The winds pick up a bit on Monday at 105 degrees. And then we can expect something very good to happen in the long-range data. If it holds together on Tuesday, we're going to end the day, after a triple-digit day, with thunderstorms. And a moisture pattern sets up that looks as though we're going to get evening thunder showers, which hopefully will cool us off. I think high temperatures go down into the mid to upper 90s. You know what? These small-town spotlights are a lot of fun, but they are absolutely critical to the mission of Charlie Clark Automotive Group.
That's right. That's right.
He believes in small towns, and he loves it. Tell us his philosophy.
You know what, Charlie, and I say this all the time, I love it. His philosophy is he wants to give back to the community. It's not just about cars. It's about joining a family. And Charlie Clark is a family. So we want to join the community of El Paso.
Did you enjoy your freeze-dried ice cream?
I loved it.
Wasn't it delicious? It turns to ice cream in your mouth.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm afraid we're running shy on time. Of course, if you look around this room, it's a wonderful collection of Star Trek. Star Trek, of course, was in the 60s, way ahead of its time, about a team of basically interstellar travelers, and I love Star Trek very much. Of course, the way they got down to the planet's surface was this little puppy right here. Okay. I've never been in one before.
Me neither.
Okay, it's the transporter. And did you hold your breath, or what do you do? They seem so. Okay, but let just for safety, let's put on our helmets.
Okay.
Okay, and in the control room, if you can hear me, please energize in 3, 2, 1. Energize. Stay with KTSM 9 News. We'll be right back from outer space in a moment.
Welcome back to this edition of Small Town Spotlight live from Alamogordo. We actually had a chance between our 5 and 6 o'clock shows to walk around the entire museum here in Alamogordo. If you haven't been able to make a trip here to do so,
it is amazing.
Absolutely 100% recommended. But also something really cool is if you drive up the mountain about an hour away, you end up hitting a town called Sunspot, New Mexico, and it is, of course, well known for its observatory.
Yeah, so get this. It was built in the 1940s, and I know that it's one of those things where they tell you don't look at the sun. You can look at the sun here. It is one of a kind. The next closest observatory of its kind to us is in California.
Wow.
So why not take advantage? And I know it's a bit of a drive, a little hidden, but it's an experience you don't want to miss out on. Check it out.
So the site was actually founded in 1947. Our telescope that's still actively used, that was completed in 1969, making it over 50 years old and still being actively used, which I think is pretty special.
It's called the Sunspot Solar Observatory, built at an elevation of 9,200 feet overlooking the Tularosa Basin and White Sands Missile Range.
It's a great place of nature and science coming together. You have the beautiful grounds, you're nestled in the Lincoln National Forest, but then we're having active science and research going on.
We all know you're not supposed to directly look at the sun, but there's a hidden gem in New Mexico that's always looking at it using a telescope much like this, just bigger, much bigger.
Sunspot Solar Observatory has a rich history of monitoring the sun for many, many years. Right now it has a great visitors program, as well as it's administered by NMSU, New Mexico State University. And so we're training students to do research on a solar observatory, as well as showing the public active research that's done.
The idea of collecting data from this telescope is to forecast storms, not thunderstorms, but solar storms.
Space weather forecasting is really important for astronauts in orbit, or the satellite communication, or even affects radio communication and old school television signals. It's dramatically affected by a solar storm when it happens. It'll cut the signals, you won't be able to see them as far. It can also, if it's powerful enough, it can shut down power grids.
While this site is not actively forecasting solar weather, it is using the data to help mold future solar scientists.
Anything that we capture, we've got it in the computer. We can give that to students all over the world or parts of the consortium that fund the solar observatory here, and we share it as much as we can. So once you've got it electronically, you can give it to high school students as examples of this is what the data looks like, and then you get somebody interested in the science. They're going to be the next solar physicist in 10 years.
And the best part? You can come see the telescope collecting data in real time.
You'll see the instruments we use to look at the sun with. You'll see a live image of the sun on the monitors, which is quite unique to see because we don't ever get to see look at the sun directly. You don't get to see close up the sun's structures and features. You're usually seeing them in a photo or something like this, and this is live. You're in the moment looking at the sun directly.
Such a cool look. I mean that quite literally. And Jamie Erickson joined us now, the Director of Operations at the Sunspot Observatory. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you guys for doing this spotlight of the area around here. Yeah. It's amazing.
It's so fun. It's been so incredible. And Andy, when I went up there, I just was having a field day. And Jamie, you were saying anyone can go up there and check it out.
Yeah, most definitely. So the Sunspot Solar Observatory Visitor Center is open from 9 to 5 every day during the summer. We adjust the times a little bit during winter, just because of the winter travel that can impact people on the road up there. So come in, see the Visitor Center where they have shirts you can buy and little Sunspot gifts that activate in the sun or don't. And then you can get a tour of the telescope, which is actually doing science. 5 days a week, employees from New Mexico State University Astronomy Department are there taking science data to monitor the sun as we're going towards solar maximum right now.
Oh. And tell us, what is that?
So the sun has an 11-year cycle where it is quiet and doesn't produce lots of sunspots, and then as it goes towards maximum, it produces many, many more sunspots and solar eruptions. Like in May, there was a massive solar eruption that caused northern lights that we could see in New Mexico, which is very rare.
Yeah. And I feel like so very, very active right now. Another thing I thought that was really interesting is the work that you guys do with New Mexico State University. How much does that partnership, I guess, mean to the observatory?
So the observatory, the solar observatory, is staffed by all astronomy department people from New Mexico State and Las Cruces. We work there all the time. We reach out and work with the public and do the tours. It really is, STEM is a very important thing to everybody in New Mexico, and anything we can do to help that out, we try to do.
Oh, man. That is incredible. I can't wait to go. You guys have to go. I'm telling you. It is truly an experience. Even from the minute you start driving, you have signs that say Neptune, Uranus, leading all the way up to the sun. It is so cool.
Jamie, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate all your insight.
Thank you for having me, and please come visit the observatory and see what the telescope does.
Yeah. Awesome. There you have it, folks.
Well, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.